Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. And tonight, we are going to continue reading Animorphs number 9, The Secret by K.A. Applegate. And for those wondering where I have been, I made a small little video on on this channel to explain things. Also, in the future, if you check my Twitter, I will update it when important things happen. So, if a video is delayed for whatever reason, that's the place to go. I will, pin it to the top if it's highly important. But long story short, I got sick. It was very fun. I got hardly any work done. Whew. So yeah, it's been exciting. My pet Lemon died, and then I get sick. It's like, hey, great set of events there. But I'm back now, and I'm ready to read. And I've really hated not being able to do these videos. And I would have done this earlier, but earlier I had to take a shower. It just became, that point, like I need to take a shower before I get on camera. And then I had dinner. So then I was like, oh, finally. And now I still have a migraine, so. Okay, so let's continue. Checking things that don't matter. Okay, here we go. So, the Yerks are right there in our forest. Fine, Rachel said with her usual enthusiasm for anything dangerous. Let's go take a look. If this is a Yerk operation, we have to be careful, Marco said. They're expecting us. Expecting us? Tobias said. Marco nodded. Look, the Yerks believe we're a band of Andalites, right? They think only Andalites can morph. They figured out that the forest is the only place a group of Andalites could be hiding. Let's face it, if we were Andalites, we wouldn't exactly be able to rent an apartment. So we'd be in the forest, just like Axe is right now. Jake nodded. They want to use the logging operation as a way to go to the first video in a while, and I mess up so early. Great things ahead of us. Anyways, let's begin that paragraph again. So we'd be in the forest, just like Axe is right now. Jake nodded. They want to use the logging operation as a way to go Andalite hunting. Right. Which means they think we're out in the forest. So they have to be prepared for an attack. They're going to be totally ready for any strange group of animals that show up. I agreed with Marco. But there was another question that was bothering me. How did they ever get permission to cut trees in a national forest? Marco rolled his eyes, like I was being an idiot. Who cares? The fact is, they did. If we're going to take a look at this place, we can't show up there in a big group, Jake said. We split up, go in 2 groups, in different morphs. We see what we see, but we do nothing. Agreed? Everyone nodded. So, if it's okay with everyone, I'll go in with Rachel. I'll morph the palette. Paladin. This video is going really well. Worth the wait, folks? So, if it's okay with everyone, I'll go in with Rachel. I'll morph the peregrine falcon. Rachel, you can morph your bald eagle. Tobias will show us the way. That's a lot of excellent eyes to look things over. Cassie, you go in with Marco. Get a different perspective. Why can't I go with Rachel? I asked. It's not that I don't like Marco. He just grinds my nerves sometimes. Because you and Rachel just egg each other on, Jake said. He knew about the rat thing. He definitely knew. Still, it kind of bothered me. Oh, you mean like you and Marco egg each other on? Jake nodded and gave me a wink. You could say that. Yep, exactly. 10 minutes later, Marco and I were walking across the far fields of my farm, wading through tall grass toward the edge of the forest. The forest is huge. It reaches all the way back up into the mountains. Thousands, maybe millions of square miles of pines and oaks and a scattering of birch trees sweep down from the mountains all the way to the edges of town. Our farm is right on the edge. Lots of farms are. And some new housing developments and so on. It was a clear evening, so the mountains showed up pink and lavender in the setting sun. There was a cool breeze loaded with the smell of wildflowers. 2 of our horses were grazing off across the field by the fence. It was a safe area, so we let the horses run free at night in nice weather. Of course, now that wolves were being reintroduced into the forest, we might have to change that. A wolf pack can bring down even a healthy, strong horse. I know. I've been a wolf. And I was getting ready to be one again. We reached the edge of the forest. It began very suddenly. One step was on grass, the next step was on pine needles and fallen leaves. It was darker under the trees, and as we walked into the forest, it grew darker still. I craned my neck back. Looking up, I could still see blue sky overhead, but the sun was going down, and night was growing near. Creatures of the day were winding down their activities, and creatures of the night were opening their eyes. Might as well morph now, Marco said. Yes, we'll move faster in wolf morph, I agreed. He grinned at me. Does it ever creep you out? All this morphing? I mean, I still remember the first time. It was so bizarre. It's still bizarre, I said. Even for you? Why not for me? I asked. Marco shrugged. You're the morphing queen. I laughed. Oh, please. We all morph. Yeah, but even Axe says you have some kind of special talent. Like you have more control or whatever. He says you're even better than he is. That doesn't make it any less creepy for me, I said. I mean, we're in the forest. The sun is going down, and I'm getting ready to turn into a wolf. This could be a horror movie. Wolf man. Wolf woman. I corrected. The wolf couple. We shoved our outer clothing under some brush, and I began to morph. I focused my mind on the wolf whose DNA was a part of me. Marco and I were actually the identical wolf. We had both absorbed the DNA of the same female. I felt my jaw stretching and stretching outward. The bones made a slight grinding sound as my small, weak human mouth became the powerful, crushing jaw of the wolf. My human mouth and teeth could barely cut through a tough steak. The wolf jaw and teeth could tear the throat out of a living, struggling deer. My gums itched as my teeth grew longer. See? That's what I mean, Marco said, trying to make sounds even as his human tongue and lips disappeared. In a few more seconds, he was able to switch to thought speak. See? That's what I mean. Look at how much better you are at morphing than I am. That looks very creepy, by the way. I had controlled the morphing so that the wolf's head appeared completely formed before anything else happened. I was a completely normal girl with just the downiest growth of fur and a massive, shaggy wolf's head atop my shoulders. I didn't really think much about it, I said. Sometimes my brain just seems to have its own ideas about morphing. The rest of the morph continued. My knees reversed direction. My legs grew smaller. Rough pads replaced my feet. The fur on my body grew long and rough and grayish in color. I fell forward onto my front legs, no longer able to stand. The wolf's instincts began to surface, but I had done this morph before, so I could handle them easily. Then the wolf's senses came on, replacing my human perception. The forest was an entirely different experience to the wolf. It was as if I had been transported instantly to some totally different place. My human ears had noticed almost nothing. A bit of wind, a few chirps, the rustling of leaves, but the wolf's ears heard everything. They heard some large, four-footed animal about 100 yards to the right. They heard squirrels gnawing acorns in their high nest. They heard insects crawling beneath the pine needle floor. They heard cars on the far distant road. And the ears were nothing compared to the sense of smell. Let me just put it this way. In terms of smell, all humans are blind. We smell nothing. Maybe we smell a flower if it's right under our noses. Hang on, let me restart that one again. Maybe we smell a flower if it's right under our nose, or chocolate cake baking in the oven. But we are the morons of smell. Wolves are the geniuses of smell. You have no idea at all what it is like to have that wolf nose. Ah! I cried in shock. Yeah, Marco agreed. I'd forgotten. Wow. Hello. It is exactly like being blind and then all of a sudden being able to see. The wolf smelled the horses in our field. The wolf didn't just smell that they were horses. It smelled that they were fully grown and healthy. The wolf smelled every flower, every tree, every leaf, every mushroom. It smelled water in 3 different locations and knew which stream was sweetest. The wolf smelled a chipmunk, a dozen squirrels, voles, rats, mice, deer, a dead sparrow, a raccoon. No, 2 raccoons. And it smelled me. I mean, it smelled my scent from the clothing I had just morphed out of. It smelled the scent of all the birds and animals in my barn that I had touched or even walked near. It smelled things that were 3 days old. The human who had walked through these woods days before, the other wolf, an old male who had passed by, the smell of dogs and cats and trash. And one very strange smell that I realized had to be the scent of an andalite. Axe. When you put it all together in your head, the sense of smell and the hearing, it was as if the entire world around you was crawling and seething and exploding with life. Cool, Marco said. Way cool, I agreed. Let's go. Let's run. Wolves like to run. And that's the end of the long anticipated chapter, and I am stretching. Okay, hope I didn't freak anyone out. Okay, long story short, I am writing a fanfic where someone is, for the majority of the fic at least, is trapped in the body of a wolf. And I really do use Animorphs as some inspiration for that, just to really get into that feel that I want. Although some things are changed, such as I believe I have mentioned this before, and I'll probably mention this again, because I'll probably forget that I said this before, that wolves' knees don't reverse. That is a mistake. That does not, the wolf's legs are not reversed. And so actually in the second chapter of the fic, the character remarks about thinking like their knees had reversed. This has a little callback. I actually do that a bunch in my writing. Fan fiction or original, sometimes I'll have all these minor Easter eggs to Animorphs. Even though I know like less than half of my readers will probably get them. And probably even less than that will think they're actually funny or clever. So anyways. But I do really love the morphing into wolves in this chapter. This nice, happy, gay, oh my gosh, those senses! I can smell, and this. Just being really excited about the animal kingdom is really one thing I really highly enjoy about Animorphs. Well, actually, for the question for today, if you read Animorphs when you were younger, please comment below about if you went into any field involving animals, like maybe a veterinarian. And if you did so because of this series, please comment below. And also remember, you can comment about anything else you noticed during this chapter. But remember, no major spoilers. I am hoping against hope that people find out about Animorphs through these videos. So there are some big spoilers that should not be spoiled, that people should encounter the first time not knowing they're going to occur. Yes, everyone who hasn't read Animorphs, I do like to see you suffer. Oh, God. But anyways, just comment below. Also, if you are on the YouTubes, please subscribe and like this video if you like animals. Just very broad, very general. It can be cats, dogs, wolves, whatever. I'll even accept a like for spiders. Even for spiders. I know they are misunderstood, but I still think they're creepy, but I will accept the like for spiders. And if you're watching this on my blog, please, and not watching on the desktop version of my blog, please choose the follow by email option so you will never again miss out on any of my content. Not just the dramatic readings, but other things that now that I'm better, I will try much harder to get out quicker. Get back to that usual pace. So, thank you, and again, sorry for the wait, but I was sick, and no, if you have the ability to choose between your own health and your whatever work you do, and you can spend a few days recovering, do the few days recovering. And until next video, goodbye.